And I want to be able to talk about time vampires. I've been saying this for a while that as a guy who invented a sales methodology with social selling and have utilized or tested just about every sales tool you could imagine, one of the things that I'm really starting to focus in on more and more is that you could teach somebody to fish, but if they don't find the ideal time to go fishing, you can give them great rods, great casting tools, great lures. Those are sales tools. You can give your team all the process. So you could have a professional fisherman teach them how to fish. But if they don't find the time to do so, if they're wasting time getting out of the house, docking the boat, getting the boat in the water, getting the boat to the fishing hole, none of this is going to matter. And so one of the biggest problems I keep seeing over and over again, I see founders who do founder-led sales. They say, like, I want to do this, but I don't know where to start. I need a resource to help me take away my email and calendar, handle sales support tickets. I'm spending too much time editing my own podcasts or writing articles or making videos like I'm doing here. I can't find time. Or the chief revenue officer who's looking at their sales team and saying, my God, like a day a week is being spent building total addressable market lists, data enrichment, CRM updates, PowerPoint presentations, taking notes from past meetings and throwing them in the CRM. All of this is taking away from customer conversations. Customer conversations lead to sales conversations. Sales conversations lead to sales. You have to understand the only two things you can control are decisions you make and actions you take. And so time becomes actually the third variable. Sales teams are always looking at sales methodologies and sales tools. They hadn't gone through the construct of understanding that time is either our best friend because we know how to use it very well, or it's a time vampire. So with that, I want to be able to share a document with you. I'm going to share my screen and give you an idea to play with. Here is my idea. I want you to go through an exercise. So hopefully you'll be able to see my screen. I should be sharing my screen right now, in which what you should see is a centralized support benchmarking tool. Here's what I want you to picture. I want you to picture documenting what you did today and then what you did over the week. Now, be very critical of what you're doing. What I want you to do is take two columns. What you see on the right here is $5 an hour tasks versus $500 an hour value creation. As an example, I need to build a list of accounts, contacts, and enrich those contacts, LinkedIn accounts, email, phone numbers, to be able to prospect. That's a $5 an hour task. But the act of having the sales conversation and having a discovery call where I'm going through medic qualification, I am qualifying them against the sales qualified lead criteria. I'm doing a sales presentation to lead them towards a proposal. That's a $500 an hour value creation. Here's the thing is we're asking our sellers to do both. Why? Because it's always been done that way. Oh, sales teams need to be able to do all these things. But one of those activities is worth $500 an hour. And one of those activities is worth $5 an hour. I'll give you another example. From that live call, I'm doing a live demonstration with a customer, and we're debating back and forth what's going on in the world, what are best practices, what are pitfalls and challenges of customers, all those questions that I'm asking. That's $500 an hour. But the details within that call sit, if you're using Zoom as an example, there's an AI counterpart that sits inside Zoom. That AI companion can extract the notes from the meeting, summarize it by user, who are the people talking on the call, and you can have that placed in your HubSpot, your Salesforce, whatever your CRM is. The act of the qualifying questions, the rapport of asking questions, listening, using what and how based questions from Chris Voss, that's worth $500 an hour. But the act of extracting those notes and creating last sales action, next sales action, tasks and reminders in CRM, moving it from one, creating a lead source, moving it from one stage of a CRM sales stage into another. That's a $5 an hour task. But sometimes we say to ourselves, well, let's do those tasks because it'll only take me a few minutes. I'll get it done, then I'll move on. But today I have 7 of those meetings. And so that's a couple minutes every time, times 7 times. A lot of times it never gets done because you have back-to-back meetings and it piles up, and then you get too busy. You have dinner with the family, you have kids going to sports, then you forget to do it. Then you have no CRM notes. All of these tasks start to add up. And for the average sales team, for the average founder like yourself, that's 20% of your week is doing sales administrivia, not selling. So I highly recommend, I'm going to stop sharing. We have this centralized support benchmarking tool. The purpose is to add up the time over the course of a day and a week. And you start to recognize that you most likely have, at the very least, a fractional, but more likely a full-time sales support resource that could be dropped into the center of your sales team. We call it pod selling. Drop them in, tackle the $5 an hour tasks, from database development to database enrichment to CRM updates to forecasting reports to note-taking to email support ticket triaging to you name it. All of these things you as founders, chief revenue officers, and your sales team should not be handling. So with that, I'm going to sign out, but these are the examples of the time vampires that take away from us engaging more customer conversations. Hope you're doing well.